my name's Cristelle Hart Singh. Singh, I'm married to a Punjabi. Originally, I was born in England. My father was English, but my mother is Swiss, so I have dual nationality. My base in Europe is Switzerland. And I've been in coaching now for 24 years. 24 years.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's a very long time.
Yeah,
More
it is
than
a long
2
time.
decades.
Yes. Yeah, it's a long time.
So you were here in India the whole time?
I go back to Switzerland once a year to visit my family.
Okay.
But yeah, otherwise I did twice 6 months before choosing to settle here. Did some voluntary work in community near Trivandrum, and then went to Mumbai, worked with street children, and that's kind of what made me decide to move here, at least for some time. Yeah, I met another Swiss lady, and we decided to found an NGO called Dilse. Yeah, Dilse, because at that time the movie had just come out.
Oh, is it?
And the street boys were dancing to the music of Dilse up on the roof. They were doing these choreographies, and we were looking for names, and then what sounds okay in different languages, and then what has meaning. And this Dilse was just simple and sweet and right. Yeah, exactly, right to the point. So
from heart. Right?
From the heart. Yeah.
From the heart. Nice. Yeah. So, what do you do actually?
So, so Dilse started off with the aim of helping street children, and I chose to live in Kerala for several reasons, but one of them was that I felt that I could live in Cochin. I'm not, as much as I felt that I wanted to work at grassroots level, I'm not Mother Teresa, and I didn't feel that I could survive in slums somewhere. And Kerala, Cochin is somewhere I'd passed through as a backpacker, and felt that it had a nice vibe, especially for Cochin back then. And I thought that it was.
Which year?
This was back in. So I moved here in November 2000. So yeah, I'd come through in '99, and felt that it was somewhere that I could plant some roots for a while. Didn't think I'd still be here, but I did a moral contract with the organization and said I'll be here for 5 years. So we started off with the aim of helping street children, like I said, but in Kerala, in general, there are not many street children. Compared to other cities.
Yeah, especially the north.
Yeah. From what I understood, most of the street kids their aim is to get to Mumbai. That's where the big lights are, the Bollywood and the cricket scene, and all the famous people are in Bombay. So they end up, the ones that run away at least, get on a train, and they might get off in a station and say they get off in Cochin. Not much happens for them in Cochin. Yeah. Begging doesn't really work here. And so more often than not, they get back on a train and go somewhere else. So, but we started off working with Childline, and there were children from destitute families. So children whose parents, for example, were rag pickers, or there were problems with alcoholism, domestic violence, etc., and those children needed to be placed. So basically we ran a home for destitute children for about 13 years.
You give them the education?
Yeah, they went to local schools, and basically lived with us. I think we took care of nearly 28 children over those 13 years. Some of them would come for a short amount of time, and then some situation got better at home. And towards the end, the kids had grown up, and most of them were able to go back home, because we try and support the families as well, however we could, because ideally the children should be with their parents. Yeah. So then one of our little girls who had been with us for about 5 years, she went back with her parents. Her parents wanted to move to Bangalore, and she went with them. And then about a year later, we got a call from a social worker from the Bangalore train station. They'd found this little girl, and she was by then 13, and she'd run away from her parents, and she wanted to come back to Cochin. By then, our children's home, we'd registered it as a boys' home because we had no girls, and it needed to be properly registered. So I couldn't take her. But we still wanted her to be in Cochin because that's where she knew people and felt safe. So she was brought to the government girls' home, and there they discovered that she was pregnant.
Oh, yeah?
Her parents had forcefully married her, and she'd become pregnant at the age of 13. And so she was shifted from the government girls' home to a home for destitute women. She was not a destitute woman. She was a pregnant teenager.
What is a destitute woman?
It was a home for women from the streets, women who, don't have a job, who can't fend for themselves. Often there were some women who were mentally challenged as well. It wasn't the right place for a young girl, right? There was they were not specialized in this kind of case. I was also pregnant at that time with my second child, and we gave birth 4 days apart. She was 14 and I was 39. And so, from one thing to the other, we found out that there were 2-3 other girls in similar situations, 14, 15-year-olds who were also pregnant, and there was no institution for them, right? So together with my midwife and the Child Welfare Committee's support, we opened a home for abused pregnant teenagers called Tejas Home.
Tejas Home.
Yeah, Tejas Home, yeah. And we ran that for 8 years, taking care of 55 girls from all over Kerala, aged 12 to 17. Who would come at different stages of pregnancy.
These girls would reach out to you, or you guys have already...
They would come through the official channels. So very often children don't disclose sexual abuse. So most of the time these girls, it came to be known that they were pregnant because somebody noticed the change in the body. And maybe that was a parent or a neighbor or a teacher, and then a complaint was filed with the police. Perhaps the doctor filed the complaint, and then they would go to the Child Welfare Committee, who would then send them to us. So every single case was different. About half of the girls had been in consensual relationships, although consent is not legal until the age of 18, but they were in relationships with their boyfriend and didn't know perhaps any safety measures, and became pregnant. And the others were had been abused by father, brother, cousin, neighbor, friend of the family's. Only one of the girls, it was a complete stranger. Out of 55 girls, they all knew the abuser. So
everybody was from the family?
Not everybody from the family, but everybody was somebody known, trusted, or loved.
This is sad. I think this is happening. This is still happening, right?
Oh, yeah.
I think every girl I've met also shared something like this, that
Yeah.
they've got this abuse behavior from their friends, relatives,
Yeah.
family, friends.
Yeah. It's not just the girls though, it's the boys also.
That is true.
Yeah.
I've had experiences.
Yeah. Nearly as many boys as girls, unfortunately. We tend to protect our girls, right? We
Yeah.
don't allow them out. We say, no, you need
You
to,
give all
you
the
need to be.
information out there
Yeah.
to them, not for the boys.
No.
And
And then the boys,
will-
we let them loose, don't we?
yeah,
Yeah. But they're just as vulnerable.
and just as abused as they are. Real thing actually for the boys, what they have to go through on bus, schools,
Yeah.
religion institutions,
Sports academies,
sports academies, yes, hostels,
neighbors.
yes. I don't know why we are not talking about it. We are not talking about it louder as we talk about girls. Right?
Tell me about it. Yeah.
We are not.
No. We're not talking about it full stop. People are not talking about it. That's my big issue at the moment, is how can we get everybody to talk about it? Statistics say that 1 in 2 children will suffer sexual abuse, some form of sexual abuse, before the age of 18. That's every other child.
Like regardless of boy or girl.
Yeah. So imagine that half of the world got cancer. Do you think we'd keep quiet? Do you think there wouldn't be billboards everywhere and everybody would be talking about it constantly? What can we do? What can we do? What can we do?
Yes.
This is half of the population we're talking about.
Yep.
And nobody's talking about it.
Somebody wants to be quiet about it. I don't know.
We don't talk about sex, right? Sex is not an open conversation. It's a bit of a taboo conversation. Yes. Let's say definitely in India. And then to have those words, child sexual abuse, in the same sentence, it just scares people.
Yeah.
And the more we keep quiet about it, the more we allow it to happen.
Exactly.
Because it stays in the shadows and we don't want to accept it.
People are coming up with good touch, bad touch classes.
Okay, first of all, we say safe touch and unsafe touch.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, because...
That's how it's supposed to be, actually.
Because a bad touch can feel good.
Yeah.
It's confusing to children. What's a bad touch? Bad touch.
I don't feel bad about that. Right?
Yeah.
That's how they should.
Yeah.
They might feel.
Yeah.
Also. Safe and unsafe.
Safe and unsafe touch. Oh, wouldn't it be nice to have this at home?
Yes, for sure, right? I'm gonna build something like this for sure. So now I want to talk about the art therapy that you do. So how important is art in life and for the good of the world? Maybe.
Okay. So a friend of mine who used to run a gallery, she used to laugh at me because when I would look at these art exhibitions, I had no clue what I was looking at. I still don't, really. But yeah, I've never learned to really appreciate art for what it is before. And
so do you think art has an importance of sharing the truth about life and people and the world?
Well, I think art can help people express things that they don't know how to talk about, perhaps. It's easier to express even in writing, right? Sometimes even if we don't consider ourselves as writers, but just journaling or things like that can help a lot to be able to put down what we feel on paper. Similarly with other visual arts or dance, music, all these things can help people express. So I think that that's already really useful to be able to do it for self.
Yeah, it's not for the world, but for the self expression.
Yeah. See, when you ask, I heard this somewhere and it's so true. When you ask a group of 5-year-olds who's an artist, they'll all raise their hands, right? Everybody's an artist. Now, when you take that to a group of 10-year-olds, you'll have maybe half the class will still consider themselves as artists. You get to a room of teenagers and you'll have only 1 or 2, the ones who are actually considered to be good artists, right? A good musician or a good painter or whatever it might be. And actually, we're all artists in our own way, right?
Yeah.
Everybody has some creativity inside of them, whether it be actual art or whether it be creativity at work, having ideas in the way that they communicate in relationships, right? We are all creative. Therefore, everybody is able to express through arts. But again, we kind of forget about it. It's like that gut feeling, right? We lose it as adults because we want people to say this is good. If somebody, if you do something, then maybe you'll keep it to yourself. You won't dare to show it to others because it's not, typically what people would say is good art.
You don't want to give it out and be judged as average.
Yes, absolutely.
So you're very scared of how people are going to judge you.
Yeah. Children don't have that.
See, they don't have that.
No.
They don't care about
they
what
don't
people
care,
do.
and that's what's great.
But then you're telling that as humans, we are born artists. And we eventually kill our art side and choose.
I believe that. I believe that, yeah.
Yeah. But it's very important to express in any way or form, right?
Very important.
How important is it?
Yeah.
Why is it so important to express?
So I started the journey of arts-based therapy in 2017 to be able to help a friend who was in a very bad situation and she couldn't talk about it. So I was, when I went looking for advice from a professional therapist, how can I help? She said it's a mind-body connection that you need to do. Maybe it's playing puzzles with her, maybe it's playing games, maybe it's drawing, maybe it's coloring, something like that. And that kind of got me as like, wow, I could actually learn that, right? I'd not done enough studies to go into anything like psychology and it was not really a space that I wanted to go into. So this arts-based therapy, I thought, that I could do. And I've been doing it since 2018. And the things that it brings out in people is really amazing, the benefits of it. Just being able to express without judgment is beautiful, actually.
And
because we don't think, right?
Yeah, we just express.
You're just putting it out there. So it's not. I'm not teaching art. I'm not even analyzing the art. It's just facilitating, giving you a space to do something. And if I were to tell you to do something with a piece of clay and him to do something and her to do something, you'd all do something different. Right? You'd all put into it what you're feeling at that point of time.
So you choose the color as well.
Exactly.
As your mind goes, right?
Exactly, right?
You might choose the dark colors when you are in your dark times. No? I don't know.
Not necessarily. I think it's possible, but
I've seen people mention like that.
Yeah, we say don't use black because that means it's all negative.
When they go through an emotional, vulnerable stage, when they're going through some depression, they tend to choose black or dark colors when they draw. Is that true?
Honestly, I'm not sure, because we tend to think that people who dress in black are, they're different to the people who dress very colorfully. But I love the color black, right? And it doesn't mean that I'm depressed. Right?
Do you feel like wearing black when you have a very low day?
No, not necessarily. No.
Yeah, I'm
I
just
might not
asking.
care what color I wear when I'm having a low day. They just pick.
I just don't even
They
check the
don't even
colors.
check the colors. If they don't match, it doesn't matter. Yeah.
Yeah, if I'm wearing black, I'm super happy. Is maybe the thing, right? See, when you are
Yeah, maybe the
maybe the
opposite.
opposite. Like you're super happy, and now you get to choose. Okay, I choose black today.
I think some people just choose colors for their personal reasons. It's not because somebody paints always in black and white that they necessarily feel negative.
Yeah. Banter.
Banter.
Banter. That's a new word. Banter.
It's just some general chit chat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is what we're doing.
Yeah.
You're sitting and talking in front of Buddha, who has been a different version of you, maybe?
No.
No, not even near.
I have started believing in reincarnation, though. I've chosen to believe in reincarnation, and I think that's one of the reasons that I'm here. Also,
Is it?
Yeah.
Tell me about it. It's okay. That's okay. But Buddha, what do you think about
something
Buddha?
that I've been interested in for many years is reincarnation. And I had my palm leaf read. You know, the palm leaves where there's scriptures on, and you apparently can find the one that was written about you thousands of years ago, and tells you about a little bit about your past, not past life, but past, and why you're where you are. And so it seems that I came to India to catch my husband, and that we were married in a past life. So,
wow. And I think Buddha is one good example on how somebody can impact the world with kindness and doing nothing.
Yeah. I can't do nothing.
He was not doing nothing. He was doing a lot of things, right? What is your principle of life?
The only quote that I have at the top of my head is one that my father told me, and this might not be appropriate for the video, but is that life is not always a bowl of cherries. It is sometimes a shit sandwich.
That's deep.
Is it?
It is. It is. Because that's a reality everybody has to accept.
Yeah.
We always look for that bowl of cherries and it's not there.
Yeah.
It's a shit sandwich lying around most of the time.
Yeah, he wrote that to me in a letter when I was early 20s, I think, probably after something had happened.
Again, that is one thing that we don't teach our kids as well. We don't teach them how hard is it out there to live and survive.
I just had this conversation with my kids last night, actually. Yeah.
Like you were telling them literally it's very hard.
Literally that it's really nice. They have dreams. Like they have plans. Like one will be 13 in 10 days and the other one's 15, and they already have their plan for the next 4 or 5 years, and both of them know what they want to do, and explaining to them that it's great to have plans, it's really nice to have plans, but to understand that things will change in between, right? That we change as people, that there are so many different stages in our life. With my husband, we were just saying we're not the same people we were when we got married, right?
Yeah.
16 years ago, we were two completely different people than we are today. And with kids, I think it happens even faster in those, young years. That you might be thinking one way now. That's great. Hold on to your plan, but hold it loosely.
Yeah, make it flexible.
Make it flexible.
I mean, as a kid, I used to think that if I have a friend, right, in my school days, I would think that, okay, this guy is going to be with me forever.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And when we go to the college,
yeah,
now we think the same. I don't know, I thought the same.
Yeah.
That, okay, this is it. This is the team.
Yeah.
And we're going to be there forever. But eventually it's not, right? You are on your own after some point. How do you make this?
My best friend is one of the first girls that I met when I moved to Switzerland at the age of 14.
Okay. You still.
and she is still my best friend.
Yeah.
Yeah, so whenever I go back to Switzerland, there's a group of us who were at school together, and we meet up
Wonderful.
every time I go back. Yeah.
But you don't do business or you don't work together, right? You
No,
just
no.
be there as friends.
Yeah, yeah. A lot of people, I'm sure, fight that
Hmm.
because of, what other people think. Again,
Hmm.
it comes down to that a lot of the time.
Yeah.
I can't be this because what will they say? Or I can't be this because society will think this. Or
But eventually they'll become that, right? In the later stages. Have you seen people like that?
I've had people kind of more the opposite say, "Oh, I want to do this," and not been able to do it, and then be satisfied with that because that was bringing something else. Let's say it might have been my heart is telling me to go this way, but my brain is telling me that I need to continue like this for others, for the family, or for
Yeah.
right. And here I'm thinking of work-wise, for example.
Being a provider.
Somebody who would want to do things differently, who would want to follow a different path, but this is where the money is, and I need to provide for my kids to go to college and give them a good life. So
And be settled with that.
yeah, and find other joys. It's difficult to have everything.
Yeah.
It's not because you've got loads of money that you're going to be happy, and it's not because you've got none that you're not going to be happy. And I think you have to. We all have to find our own balance.
Does it have to be listening to your heart? Like what is it? Like listening to your heart, right?
Heart-mind balance.
Yeah. I mean, I've seen all the successful people say this.
Yeah.
Listen to your heart, listen to your heart. But heart, what is it? Like how does it work?
Is that something you're struggling with?
I don't know. I'm not struggling with it. Whenever I listen to my heart, I feel happy and satisfied with whatever I do. Not the other ways. When I listen to my brain, his brain is always checking me out.
Yeah. I don't think there is an easy life for most people.
Yeah.
I think that we put too much pressure on thinking that that life is all about trying to be happy. Right? I think that most of the time we're in the middle, and then there'll be ups, and then there'll be downs, right? And we need to be satisfied. We need to be content. I think more than wanting to be happy, we need to want to be content, and then thrive and enjoy those highs and work through the lows.
That's it. I think that is it. That is the easiest way
Because
of
life
saying
is not easy
for anybody.
for anybody. Yeah, and those that social media nowadays shows everybody's having a wonderful time, right?
Yeah,
But
vacations.
in the background, we don't know what's going on.
What do you wish for?
What do I wish for? To be happy. No, what do I wish for? I would really like to be able to feel content
All the time.
all the time.
And for the world? What do you wish for the world?
A bit more balance. Yeah, we're messing it up as humans, the earth as such, and gosh, people can just be so mean, can't they? And they don't. It's selfish. I think humans as a race, we are very selfish. I wish that if I had a magic wand, I would maybe wish that selfishness away. There's too much imbalance. So there's people who have so much, and yet they want more. They want more. They want more. They're never satisfied. And then those that have nothing, it's not fair.
It is not. For me, it's something it's similar that you are consciously choosing to live this way. That tomorrow people are going to get advantage of it. Like people are going to get that benefit of whatever you've been preaching and saying and practicing. I think some people are choosing not to do that, but yeah, thanks for choosing to be yourself and doing this for years. I just want to say that actually.
Thank you.
What do you dream of? Like, what is your biggest dream?
To live in the hills.
Yeah, everybody has that dream. I don't know why.
Oh,
I mean,
I
as
just-
humans, we are always attracted to.
Actually, I like this garden. I could live in this garden. I think I just living in the middle of the city is really not for me. As in, it's practical for many reasons, but it's not what I love. I love quieter places. I love greenery. I love nature. Not that I want to be on my own. I need people. I need interaction. But yeah, I think I would love to, I don't know, have a homestay maybe or something one day.
In the hills.
A little bit in the hills.
And here in
where
Switzerland.
it's cooler. No, here. I don't see myself going back to Switzerland anytime soon. So.
Yeah. Okay. So you have this a place in mind in India, Himalayas?
No, I'd probably stay in South India.
Is it?
No.
You're very fond of South India. It's okay. One thing
Not
about
sure
South
it's what I know now, you know. I don't know the Himalayas, so maybe I'd like it. I've not been there yet, so. Honestly, why does it have to be me? I don't know. I plan to work in a large NGO, but in admin. And this 1 year, or twice 6 months of volunteering in India had been in preparation to doing that. And after being with the street kids in Mumbai, I realized that wasn't going to be enough. That I'd never thought of doing social work, so I don't have a social work background. But something about the children and the country just kind of pulled me here. And like I said, I did a 5-year moral contract with the organization, and my mother laughed because I had never held a job for more than 1 year.
Yeah.
As in the same company, yes, but I had to keep switching. I was never satisfied.
Yeah.
And I've been here 24 years doing this. Because every day it's different, people said, oh, you were courageous to leave everything and move, but I never saw it as that. It was just something that I had to do. There was some kind of string pulling me, when
It's not even you were not even pushing for it, just pulling for it.
Oh yeah. When I was back in Switzerland, those 6 months each time in between, I would wear a bindi every day. And that was my little string, attaching me to India for those 6 months that I had to be in Switzerland. Maybe I've got something Swiss on me, which is keeping me attached there also. I don't know, but yeah. I didn't have a choice in the sense that it just had to be. I don't know how to explain it any other way. And then, of course, after those 5 years, I got attached to the children that were in our children's home, and there was no way that I could leave. That just wasn't happening. And then a couple of years later, I met my husband to be, and now we've been married for 16 years. So that's, I'm guessing, why I'm still here. This is just home now, and I'm very passionate about what I do. like our discussion showed, nobody else seems to be interested. So, I can't just not.
Because I'm finding joy in that.
Yeah.
I mean, is there joy in giving to the world?
Of course. Oh my God. And it's not like it's some. People think maybe it's some kind of selfless act. It's not selfless at all. It gives so much. Yeah. Absolutely. And you might have to talk to, 300 people, and then one brings it up and says it happened to me, and they get, some kind of solace in speaking to somebody and being believed where maybe they hadn't before, or they've been keeping it all inside. And when one person says, I hear you, you go home and you feel like, okay, I did something really good. You can hand all this information out to people that you can't know what they're going to do with it, right?
Yeah.
You can try and tell things the way they are, or the way you think they are. You don't know how people are going to receive it, but when they receive it well, and when it actually has some impact, then of course there's joy.
So tell me an experience. Give me an experience where you actually found joy for the first time when you gave something out.
In this work, you mean? Yeah. In the work that I do?
The first time you found that joy.
Oh God. I think what comes to mind now is in this shelter in Mumbai, and these kids, oh my God, they're just so full of life, right? I mean, they're the ones that would hold my hand to cross the road, because they know how to cross these busy roads in Mumbai. And they'd take me with this old piece of wood, and we'd go and play cricket somewhere in Five Gardens. And then, or they'd be busy doing their own things, and I'm there as a volunteer thinking, what use am I actually? What is the point of me being here? I'm doing this more for me than for them. But then at the end of the day, when everything calms down and we're back at the shelter, and then you sit down, and then you get a couple of heads lying on your lap, and suddenly you're sitting there, and you can't move because you've got like 5, 6 dirty little lice-ridden heads on your legs. And you think, well, that's what I'm here for, right? Yeah. It was just being there and being somebody who could give them some love, maybe, but that they'd not had before. And I think that's probably the moment that made me choose to be here. Yeah.
To continue what you do.
To continue, yeah.
But why then it's not a popular choice? It's not the it's not the popular choice, right? Nobody choose to give out so much. People want to save it for themselves.
Yeah, I wasn't thinking very much. For sure. It's not the best financial choice.
I think, yeah.
Right? To be in the social work field. I see people who have done their, worked in their field, earned lots of money, and then they create a foundation. Because then they're settled, and then they can do what they feel needs to be done, or they want to give back to society. Yeah. I never got to the point of giving back. I just think that what I was doing before was not giving me enough. It was giving me money. I was, working in offices, and I would do my 8 hours a day and sign off, and I'd have money to do things at weekends, and I'd have my car and my flat and holidays, but there was really just something missing,
It was empty.
It was empty, yeah. And so I never got time to save, right? So I think that's why a lot of people still expect social workers to, have their kadi and their, they should be doing, still many people say, is it free? Right? They expect things to be free.
Oh, yeah.
When you talk about charitable organizations or NGOs, non-for-profit, it doesn't mean that we can do things for free.
Yeah. Everything comes at a price.
Everything comes at a price. We still need to survive from what we're doing, right? So that's kind of an interesting space to be at 52, right? Is to think, oh, maybe I should have thought about the money side a little bit before. Yeah, I think that's why a lot of people don't get into this profession, is because it's not well paid.
Yeah. Is it like this in the entire world, or do we have places in the world where it pays off well as well?
Oh, I think it pays a lot better in other countries.
Is it?
Yeah. It's not
the best,
high up there. I was talking to a couple of interns the other day that we have, and it was, I feel that we should be much better paid for what we do. Why are doctors so well paid?
Yeah.
Why are lawyers so well paid? They help others, right? And why aren't we considered as being a job that's worthy?
And be okay with it.
Yeah, absolutely. So there's that side also. It's like, right? And I think I do have that problem of knowing my worth, because, feeling that you're deserving of money when actually that money could help others who are in a much worse situation than me. That's kind of tough. But yeah, I get a lot of pats on the back and saying, good job.
Good jobs. A lot of good jobs.
Good.
Then paychecks.
Yeah. Yeah. There's no paycheck to follow.
But that good job is not really needed, because you already know what you're doing and you're very happy about it. And you don't want someone else to come to you and say, yeah, that was good.
Don't need it.
What do you need actually then?
What do I need?
Yeah, if it's not good jobs, or if it's not, money for sure, but what else? What else do you think you need?
Support. Like we just spoke about, more people being involved in what we're trying to do. I know people can't be everywhere, right? Some people are focused on, I don't know, children with special needs, and some people are focused on children with chronic illnesses, or people can't focus on everything. But it's true that I wish that there was a bit more support in the work that we do. Yeah.
To be actively participate.
Yeah.
To be
giving us spaces to go and talk, and giving us spaces and to be heard, so that we can push this forward. Yeah.